Today, we are diving into one of the most shocking and honestly, one of the most powerful stories in the entire Hebrew Bible, the story of the prophet Hosea. And it all kicks off with a command from God that seems to break all the rules. And that is the central mystery we're going to unpack. It's a question that immediately throws up all kinds of moral and theological red flags. This command seems to fly right in the face of God's own laws, right? So what on earth is really going on here? Okay, so let's just dive right in. To really get the story, you have to try and put yourself in that moment and feel the sheer shock of the initial command that was given to this prophet. So yeah, there it is. No ambiguity, right? It's an incredibly direct instruction. And you can see there are two parts to it. First, this deeply personal, very public thing Hosea has to do. And second, the reason why. His entire life is about to become a living, breathing parable for the nation of Israel's unfaithfulness to God. To really put this in perspective, just think about it for a second. Imagine the scandal today if a well-known spiritual leader was told to marry someone with a really notorious public reputation. The judgment, the confusion, the headlines. That's the level of social and religious earthquake this would have caused back in ancient Israel. So, as you can probably guess, a command this jarring has created a centuries-long interpretive puzzle for scholars and theologians who are just trying to make sense of it all. And hey, this isn't some new problem. We're talking centuries of debate. Way back, the early church scholar Jerome basically said, look, if you think other prophets are tough to figure out, Hosea is on a whole other level. That's how profound and complex this story has always been. So, to try and solve this puzzle, a few main theories have popped up over the years. They're basically ways to try and soften the blow, Like, maybe it wasn't a real marriage at all, just a vision or an allegory. Or maybe Gomer was only unfaithful in a spiritual sense, like everyone else. Some even suggest the story involves two totally different women. These are all attempts to resolve this pretty serious moral dilemma. So with all these options on the table, which one actually unlocks the story's true meaning? Well, let's take a look at the evidence. Okay, so on one side of the debate, you have scholars like Douglas Stewart. His take is that the whole thing was purely metaphorical. He's basically saying Gomer wasn't literally a prostitute. She was just a stand-in for the average Israelite who was spiritually unfaithful. And you can see why that's an appealing idea, right? It kind of neatly solves the whole ethical problem. But then, on the other side, you have scholars like Gary Smith who say, nope. They argue that the most natural and, frankly, the most powerful way to read this is to take it literally. That Hosea really did marry a woman known for her unfaithfulness, and that she continued to be unfaithful to him. And this really gets to the heart of why it matters. Think about it. If it's just an allegory, it loses all its teeth. The raw, gut-punching power of this message only works if it was real. The spiritual crisis in Israel was so dire that it demanded an equally drastic, real-life demonstration just to get their attention. And this whole idea gets a lot stronger when you realize this wasn't some one-time tactic. God frequently used the personal lives of his prophets as public messages. You've got Jeremiah, who was forbidden from marrying to show the coming devastation. Ezekiel's wife died on the exact day Jerusalem fell. And Isaiah? He had to give his sons these wild symbolic names. So Hosea's marriage, as strange as it is, fits right into this exact pattern of prophetic family drama. So if we accept the marriage as a real historical event, we start to see that it was intended as this painful, living metaphor of God's own relationship with his people. And this is where it all clicks into place. This parallel is the key to the whole story. On one side, you've got the human drama, Hosea's painful marriage to Gomer. On the other, the divine drama, God's covenant relationship with Israel. Gomer's betrayal with other lovers mirrored Israel's spiritual betrayal in worshiping other gods. The shock and the shame Hosea felt, that was meant to be a small window into the betrayal and hurt that God experienced.
But the story doesn't end with judgment and heartbreak. Not at all. The final act is where this metaphor reveals its most profound meaning. It's a story of redemption.
So after Gomer leaves Hosea for other lovers, God issues a second command. And honestly, this one might be even more difficult than the first. He tells Hosea to go find his unfaithful wife and to actively love her again. And Hosea obeys. He finds Gomer, and it seems she's in a state of debt or maybe even servitude, and he pays a specific price to buy her back. The cost is 15 shekels of silver, a tangible symbol of her redemption. So, the crucial point is this. the entire painful drama wasn't just about judgment, it was all leading to this very moment. Hosea pursuing and paying a price to redeem his broken wife was the ultimate illustration of God's relentless, restorative love for a people who had completely betrayed him.
And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This isn't just an ancient story. It's a profound picture of a love that pursues, pays a price, and restores. It forces us to ask, what does a love that willingly buys back the broken truly teach us about the nature of redemption itself?